Hey, Taylor Elwood here, and this week's video is recorded instead of being done live, and what I'm actually doing is I am talking about Amazon ads. So what you're seeing here is my Excel spreadsheet for my Amazon ads. It's also my keyword master list. I'm just going to kind of go through this really quick. We're going to talk about keywords another time, but as you can see, if you go here to over here, you see a whole bunch of keywords. I've just put them all into an Excel spreadsheet. It just makes it easier. Again, we'll cover that another time. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea as to what I have. But this spreadsheet in particular is really important. These are basically my Amazon ads. And what I've done here is I have the ad name. I don't really worry about the date created anymore. But when I first created this, I was just trying to be a little more systematic than I needed to be. And then I have my US ads, my UK, German, Canada, and if I had them in other countries, I would also be running them. What you'll see here is you'll see ad revenue. This is basically the amount of money I have made off of the ads that I'm running right now. And then you'll see the actual ad cost over here. The way this works is I take this number and I subtract this number from it, and that gives me a total here. And then what I do is I divide this number by this number, multiply it by 100 to get the percentage as far as the actual average cost of the sale. Basically, um, is the ad profitable or not? In most cases, it is. Anything that's below 100% is not profitable. I do have a few, like I have one here that's at 14% and another one that's like down here at like 83 or like 50%. And you might wonder like, well, or one at negative 26, and that one actually has been turned off. But you might wonder like, why do I have some of these that are low percentage? Because typically these are the ones that I'm running at the time. And part of that is because I'm busy testing my ads out. One of the things that you're going to discover with any kind of online advertising is that you do need to test your ads regularly. I use this to help me keep track of the overall effectiveness of the ads. You know, are these ads helping me sell books? And I want to be very clear here in regards to ads that, you know, this is really about when you're looking at Amazon ads or really any kind of online ad, you're not just looking at it in terms of the actual sales from the ads, you're also looking at it in terms of the potential organic sales, because if someone clicks on an ad for your book and buys it and then goes on to buy a couple more books by you, those other books are organic sales that are basically derived from that ad. One thing I do want to mention here is that, and I'll have this in the notes for the episode. I did not come up with this formula. This return on average, this return on advertisement investment. Basically, I didn't come up with it. The person who did is an author by the name of Robert Ryan, who has written an amazing book called Amazon Ads Unleashed, which I highly recommend you pick up. It's helped me out a lot, and it is, if you're going to be looking at doing Amazon ads, I definitely recommend that, as well as Amazon Ads for Authors by Deb Potter. Again, I'll put those links in the episode notes so that way you can see them, and if you choose to pick them up, you know, use them with my blessing. You'll get a lot out of them. Let me just put it that way. They're really good books, and they help a lot. Anyway, this is where I basically track the actual profitability of an ad. So now what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of other things. One of the things here you'll see is that I have this as ad metrics. This is actually where I take a snapshot each day of the ads. I normally don't keep them to this length of time, but I decided recently to do this just because I wanted to potentially show how some ads were doing over time. If I click on this for 9/28, it'll pop up a picture here. This basically just shows me a snapshot of the ads from yesterday. The reason why I take pictures of this is because I like to be able to compare the screenshot of the previous day with the ads of the current day. By doing that, I'm able to see, you know, what the differences are in terms of the ad revenue, ad cost, all that, and determine, from a quick glance, are these ads actually making money, or are they just, or are they just eating up money? And sometimes they are eating up money. Like as you can see, Walking with Spirits ebook is definitely eating up some money at this time. But again, I'm testing some stuff out with the keywords. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take you over here to Amazon advertising. This is one of the pages here. This is for the US. If I go to bookmarks and I go down here, I've got my German platform, my UK and Canada. I have other ones as well, but I'm not running ads on them right now. I'm always careful with how much I do in terms of ads, in terms of how much I run. I mean, it's not just about the goal of making the most money, it's also about making sure those ads are actually somewhat productive. And so, I always want to check and see. And you'll see over here on this here, you've got your ads over here, you've got your spend, you've got your orders, that's how many copies have been sold based off the thing. You've got your actual sales. And then you have your average cost of sales. The thing you want to keep in mind with the average cost of sales is that this is actually based on the cover price. It's not based on your royalties. So this one definitely is not making money right now. The rest are making money. This one for Magical Identity is edging up toward not making money, but we're going to hopefully see a turnaround here sooner than later. And as you can tell, in some cases, I've been running these ads for at least, in one case, since last year, and in other cases, since January. Some of them have done really well. Some of them have done okay. They're still doing, I mean, this one for Magical Identity has actually done pretty well, all things considered. Inner Alchemy, on the other hand, has done amazing. And in some cases, with ads, it's really key to see, like, how are they doing over time? This is why I haven't gotten rid of this one right away. It's kind of fluctuated. It's sometimes been profitable and sometimes not. So I'm kind of waiting to see how the keywords work. Over here you see budget, and I have like a budget of 50 for some of these and then 100. I mean, really, Amazon doesn't spend that money in a day, like in general. I mean, you can get away with 50 or you can do like 100. I just don't do $10. I used to do $10 when I started out. And that's a rookie move. Of course you're going to do that because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend a lot of money. But I recommend not doing that. I recommend instead, give yourself at least a budget of 50. You're likely not going to spend that money in a day with Amazon. If it was Facebook, you would, but Facebook's a different animal. One thing you'll notice over here is reads. That just shows you how many pages have been read based off of that ad. So, they might be like a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, and so they get to read the ebooks for free, and so that just shows you what that looks like. Let's go ahead and click in here to Walking with Spirits ebook. This kind of gives us a look at the back end as to what's going on here, and specifically we're going to look at a few things. We see in this case, here's the ad. Sales, it's gone up to 87.89. We see that the spend is 79.18. Again, it's not that great. Click-through rate is 31%, so that means it is actually getting a pretty decent click-through rate. It's just the conversion isn't great. We go here to placements. I currently don't have anything in the bid adjustment here. It's getting enough activity as it is that I'm not really feeling the need to do that. I could change it and up it if I wanted to, and I have with some ads, but lately I've been not experimenting with that. One thing you're going to find with ads is that you're going to do a lot of experimentation with ads. I mean, I do it all the time where I'm just experimenting and testing things and checking stuff out. It's just kind of the nature of things. You're never not testing with ads. Let's see here. We're going to go down. We'll go to targeting last. If we go to negative targeting, that would be if I wanted to add negative keywords. I don't do that too much. I know you can. I'm a little bit leery of it. I'm still. Maybe I'll get to the point where I start using it a bit more, but right now I don't. If I were to do it, it would basically be putting in keywords that if they type those in instead of your book coming up, the book wouldn't come up. And so you're doing it as a way to avoid spending money on it. If we go here to search terms, this gives us an idea of like how many people have searched. It shows us how many clicks have occurred to get to that point. It gives us an idea of how much money is being spent. And this really can, as I said, I mean, this can actually give you a good idea in some sense if you want to, you know, you could figure out like Damon Brand would probably be somebody I wouldn't use in the future for my stuff because here's 8 clicks and I've already spent $2.05. Not really good. You can also export these, which is always nice. Good campaign settings that just shows us kind of like what the don't worry about the default bid, but it shows us what the campaign settings are. The default bid is not, in this case, active, as you'll see in a little bit. And if we look at our history, this just kind of gives us a history of when something was paused. Really what it's showing you here is like what was paused and when, or what was added. So it's kind of giving you an overall history. I think one thing I'm going to use actually is I'm going to go back through and maybe I'm going to start coming up with some negative keywords. I'm going to go through my ads as a result of this and take a look. But here's the reason why I don't always do this. Like here's a good example. Alchemy was at 9 and $1.52. So you would probably say, well, don't use Alchemy. But the thing is if I use Alchemy with any of my Inner Alchemy books, and sometimes some of the other magic books, they do convert. So you can't really, you kind of have to figure out, like if you're going to do negative keywords, you have to be very selective about how you do that. Let's go to targeting. Targeting is where you can add keywords if you want manually after you first created the ad. In this case, you might see that it's a little bit dated right here. It's at 63.92.43. This is when it was profitable, at least somewhat. It wasn't that profitable. So it takes a little bit of time to catch up. But this shows you right now I'm spending 35 cents on average for a click. It may be a bit more, or, well, it'll be that or less. If I go down here, this kind of just shows me the amount of money being spent right now. And I typically like to wait until around the $1.50 mark on ads before I turn one on or off. Like in this case, Asenath Mason is basically racked up $1.14. I'll probably turn it off tomorrow. But I try not to turn them off too soon because it's a case where I want to see how they're going to do over time. And typically, you can have an ad, you can have a keyword start kicking in, you know, at over $1 or even $2 and have it become profitable. So you don't want to just automatically assume that it's not. But what I do is, I don't do this every day, I probably do it every other day. I will go through and just kind of weed through these and prune them accordingly. I probably do this a bit more than most authors do, but the reason why I do that is because I like to really be on top of the ads. I mean, my feeling on it is I'm not just going to set something up and have it blow a lot of money. I'm going to set it up and I'm going to check it and tweak it, and if it's not producing results, I'm going to turn it off. I'll give it a little bit of time. I mean, and I'll show you an example of that. We're going to go to Canada. Canada's basically been a disaster. I got like 3 sales so far off the ads, and it's finally loading up here. And I have this one still running, but I'm probably going to be turning it off soon. I only got 3 sales. As you can see, like the average cost of sale is just outrageous. This one was a little bit better. I ran these through to at this point. Part of it's because I think Canada is so new. Part of it's because one thing I don't like. Okay, here's the one thing I don't like about Amazon ads. In US, you can actually include copy with your ads. It's the only market you can. Any other market you can't, and I think that it really hurts the other markets. Now, the argument might be, well, they don't like copy. But my thought is, if I see an ad and I see it briefly and succinctly describe what something's about, it's going to make me more likely to buy. Now, maybe that's just a US thing. I don't know. I still don't like it. So, there you go. I think that's one of the reasons why I find foreign ads harder to launch. You know, like the UK ads do all right. German ads have been okay. Like this one though has been basically a disaster. Still gonna run it for another day or so just to see, but it hasn't been great. Still, I mean, this is part of the whole testing process. This is how you figure things out. And Canada has only recently opened up as an ad market, so I mean, we also have to give it the benefit of the doubt. What I may do is come back a couple months from now, and lo and behold, suddenly, give it Canada a try again because there have been ads there a bit longer and see if that makes a difference. Key point being here that you don't want to you want to rule stuff out. Now let's go back again to the U.S. ads, and all right, here we go. And for the U.S. ads, let's look at one that is pretty profitable. MOW paperback. Now I run both ebook and paperback ads to see how they're doing. What I find in general, and this is really more a reflection of occult nonfic, is that occult nonfic tends to do really well with paperback. It does okay with keyword with ebook. It's not that bad. It's not necessarily that great either. But it's still reasonable enough. I'm still making money on it, and again, I'm focused on the paperback. But like in here, movie paperback, this one is probably my best ad so far right now. For Magic of Writing, it's basically continued to run through. As you see, ads are gone down a little bit, but overall, I mean, it's been pretty good. And if I look at the targeting here, it's going to take a moment. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it's not fully caught up yet. But I mean, overall, you can see the ads are running pretty well. One thing to note, like when you look over here in this column, this is kind of showing you the average cost of sales. You can have ads that, or keywords that are, generating something, but like they're not necessarily the best. Like this one here is at 35, 44%. It's okay. I'm gonna keep it running for a bit. We'll see what happens. But like you'll have other ones that'll be up there like at 50%, and you're not gonna see any of them here. But I turn those ones off basically because even if they're selling, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. It's not necessarily all that great for me if I'm spending a chunk of change. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how I approach Amazon ads and what I do. I do this almost every day. I mean, every other day at this point. What I will do is I will take a screenshot. I take a screenshot every day, just in case. But I'll take a screenshot, compare the screenshot to the current, or compare yesterday's screenshot to the current ads, and then what I'll do is I'll basically determine if I'm turning ads off or if I'm going in and pruning them and weeding out the keywords that aren't working. I don't turn ads off that often. It takes it. I mean, I'm not adverse to spending some money in order to see how things work out. You really can't be with ads. I mean, I want to be very clear about that. Like if you're going to do Amazon ads or really any other ads, you have to be willing to spend some money, and that's just kind of the name of the game. But the more comfortable you get with that, the easier it gets and the more effective your process is. All right, anyway, this was just kind of a walkthrough of what I do with ads. I'll probably be doing some more videos like this in the near future, but I wanted to do one just for the heck of doing something a little bit different, and hopefully you guys found it helpful and insightful.